What's going on, everybody? My name is Baloo and welcome to the jungle. This is the channel where we keep crypto analysis very simple. We try to eliminate a lot of the hype and get you a little bit more informed as to what is really going on in this crazy marketplace known as cryptocurrency. So if that's the sort of thing that tickles your fancy, then why don't you hit the subscribe button? I do this every single day, except for the days that I don't. And yeah, those days that I don't have been about a week now. So apologies for the late video, but YouTube is very routine based, so let's get back on the horse and let's get back into the routine. So in today's video, I just kind of want to do a market health update. I'm going to do an update on Bitcoin, and then I also want to explain a little bit more of the nuance of how to properly use Bitcoin dominance, the BTC.D chart, because I just want to clear up some of the confusion. There's a lot of new investors in this space, and they may have started using this as an indicator to analyze whether altcoins are a good or bad idea, and it's a fantastic indicator for that reason, but you do need to know how to use it. So we're going to get into that today. So first off, let's just go ahead and take a look at the Bitcoin chart. So I'm going to just let's take a look at the daily. We'll start zoomed out. I often start all of my analysis on the daily, okay? And the reason for that is you need to identify the trend. The trend comes first. Never bet against the trend. In an uptrend, you should be looking for longing opportunities or opportunities where the asset will appreciate in price, and when the trend is to the downside, you need to be looking for opportunities to possibly short or wait for a bounce. So on the daily, as you can plainly see, we have this rising channel. We are in an uptrend, and I'm just dissecting this local move to try and analyze what's happening. So right now, if we take a look, Bitcoin's at the top of the channel. So if we're taking a look at the trend analysis, we can only discern that we are going to revisit the bottom of the channel, because up until this point, we've been ping-ponging inside of the channel. We go down, come up, down, come up, down, come up, and then the trend is your friend until it ends. We can only assume at this point, based on trend analysis, that we're going to revisit the bottom of the channel. The trend is your friend until it ends, and it has not ended yet. So let's drop down to the 4-hour and take a look at some of the patterns that are developing inside of this localized move. So I had this drawn a couple different ways. I had this drawn angular at first, and I've kind of flattened it out because it's actually a pretty hard read. So if Bitcoin breaks 14K, and I mean like break above and stay above 14K, that's going to be a huge signal, because now we're starting to break some of this multi-year resistance. Bitcoin has been range bound between 14,000 and 3,000, give or take, for years, almost 3 years now. So us breaking above that level is going to signify an incredible change in the overall macro structure of what is going on inside of Bitcoin, and it's really going to usher in really solid technicals for a continuation of a bull market. Obviously, there's a lot of uncertainty right now. We have the election tomorrow, and there's a lot of macroeconomic factors to take into consideration. But as far as the technicals and the cyclical nature of what we're seeing inside of cryptocurrency, so far, so good. That being said, this localized move, it's kind of got me a little puzzled. So I originally had it drawn as an upward sloping distribution range. So I kind of had it like this, and something like that. It was upward sloping distributional range. We got our up thrust after distribution here. That's usually a signal where composite man or the composite operator has exited the position and transferred his shares from strong hands himself to the weak hands, the weak new retail investors that don't have the ability to really hold up the asset. I did draw this red line in Wyckoff. This is known as the ICE. So in a distribution schematic, you want to draw a line connecting all of the lows. That's called the ICE. And then in an accumulation schematic, you want to draw a line along all of the highs, and that's called the creek. If you want to learn more about Wyckoff analysis, it's a fantastic form of analysis because it's very macro. It's not you're not, having to chase breakouts. You're not having to chase the really violent moves. You actually position yourself ahead of the herd. And it's a fantastic way of doing analysis because it's primarily based on price action and volume. And learning how to analyze price action and volume is the only real-time indicator that you have inside of this space. If you use an oscillator or something like that, it's based on past information. It's based on market candle closes. So it's already by default a lagging indicator. The only real-time indicator that you have is the price in the context of volume. So I highly encourage you to learn this method. If you're interested, join the free Discord down below. I've got a ton of PDFs and free material for you to come and take a look at. We can also chat, and I can answer any questions that you might have inside of that Discord, and we can get you bull run ready for this next potential cycle. So I did have this upward sloping distributional looking pattern. Now we did, every time we had a move to the downside, it got bought back up pretty aggressively, but every time we went, it's like a mix between a sign of strength and a sign of weakness, because we go to the top of the range and then we fall through the bottom of the range. That's typically a sign of weakness. However, when we fell through the bottom of the range, we got bought back up. Then we did it again. We came outside of the range and we fell all the way through the range to the bottom of the range. That is a sign of weakness. However, it got bought back up. So this level, this ice here, has been holding up until about this morning. So this morning, we did get a break. This is called falling through the ice, and then it did get bought back up quite aggressively. You can see the buying pressure coming in, huge demand coming in. So again, good. But we're now under the ice, so we need to break back up above the ice and hold it in order to continue to the upside. So obviously demand is still here. It's just hard for me to understand whether the demand is coming strictly from retail or if it is coming from institutional interests. It's a hard read. It's a hard read, and it has to do with the amount of uncertainty that's in the global markets and the amount of uncertainty. Maybe this is institutional buying, because they're the only ones that know that this is bullish and know that this could potentially break out of the channel and do something really, really bullish. But right now, we did get this teeny tiny poke out of the macro channel, but it was met with a rejection. So what am I doing right now? Well, I did actually short the UTAD here, and I was expecting a continuation to the downside, but when we got this wick, I got stopped out of my position. So right now I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to see. Obviously I have my hold position. I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I have a position that I hold long term, and I'm not selling that right now. But as far as my trades, I'm not in any trades right now. And that brings me into the next topic, which is how to interpret when some of these riskier trades are a good idea and when they're not. And we do that with the Bitcoin dominance chart. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, so here we are on the Bitcoin dominance chart. So we're on the daily. With Bitcoin dominance, I pretty much just look for trend, okay? And over here, I have a picture. This was shared in a group that I'm a part of. Thank you to the Angry Mushroom that has shared this image with the community, because it's a fantastic image. And if you guys, you can either screenshot this or you could find this along with many other informational, instructional pictures inside of my Discord if you are interested. But I'll go through it all right now. So here we have Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin, and how that correlation affects altcoins. Now this is really important because there's actually 6 different scenarios in which, altcoins are going to be affected by this chart. So I'm also going to overlay the altcoin chart so that we can have a better understanding. So I'm going to total 2. Total 2 is an index that pretty much is inversely, well, not inversely, but it's pretty much correlated with what's going on in Bitcoin. Let me just clean up this chart. I'll turn volume off here. We don't need volume. We'll just keep a very clean chart. But typically when Bitcoin dominance is falling, altcoins are going to perform well. So you could see from that point here that as Bitcoin dominance fell, altcoins really got a nice rally. So this is the total market cap for everything that isn't Bitcoin, basically. So we take a look over here. Now, Bitcoin dominance increasing. While Bitcoin is increasing, alts will decrease. Okay, and that's just more money flowing into the ecosystem through Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is increasing in value, and therefore it is increasing interest, and the interest is driving up the demand for dominance. And as a result, sometimes people will take their profits or they'll take losses to transfer back into Bitcoin as Bitcoin is appreciating in value. So that's a pretty straightforward one. Now, Bitcoin dominance increases while Bitcoin's price decreases. Alts are going to decrease rapidly. So this one is kind of like a safe haven play. So as the price of Bitcoin is falling, Bitcoin rules this space. You have to realize that when Bitcoin moves 5%, a lot of times alts will move 10 or 15%. So it's extremely volatile, and you need to know what you're doing if you're going to be trading in altcoins and investing in altcoins. The volatility in Bitcoin is already crazy. You want to amp that up 3x, you start buying some of these altcoins. So as the price of Bitcoin is falling, it has a severe effect on the price of altcoins. That causes altcoin users that want to remain exposed to the market and don't want to tether. It causes them to jump into Bitcoin because it's a less volatile asset, so it's more of a safe haven inside of the ecosystem. So that's kind of what happens when you see the Bitcoin dominance increasing while the price of Bitcoin is decreasing. Alts will decrease rapidly. So another instance to take into consideration is when Bitcoin dominance is increasing while the price is stable. What that means is dominance overall, people are entering the space, but at the same time that they're entering to go into Bitcoin, there are other traders or other investors that are also taking profits in Bitcoin and maybe going into altcoins. So it's kind of created this equilibrium, and what ends up happening is nothing really is too volatile, and we see more or less stability. Often this is not the case, when we see a stability in Bitcoin, it can trigger altcoins to perform well. But if Bitcoin dominance is increasing at the same time, then the money flow is kind of at an equilibrium. So we don't see a lot of volatility, which is rare because this is crypto, it's volatile. But I'm just pointing it out. And now we get into Bitcoin dominance decreasing. So those are the three scenarios where Bitcoin dominance is increasing. And now we're going to talk about the converse effect of when Bitcoin dominance is decreasing. So Bitcoin dominance decreases while Bitcoin is increasing. You get very intense, rapid altcoin momentum. Oops. So let's try and find a quick example. Oh, I'm on the wrong Bitcoin. Oh no, yeah, there we go. So we can see here that Bitcoin dominance is decreasing, and the price of Bitcoin, I know at this time, this is the 2017 bull run, is increasing, and the altcoins were just on a tear. So that's basically, you're going to see the dominance decrease at the end of the macro cycle, and that's when everything goes freaking crazy. For those of you who are new to the space, welcome. You have chosen the most ridiculous high-risk investment class that you can get into, but you're probably addicted to it now, so welcome. Glad to have you. But yeah, it's a crazy space, and it's very dynamic, and it changes constantly. So you need to spend a lot of time on education up front so that you're ready to handle not only, you know, the potential gains, but the emotion that goes alongside with that, because you need to be able to think rationally. Because look at what happened. Bitcoin dominance was in a downtrend, and then look what happened when it changed directions to an uptrend. This should have been the signal, okay? A lot of people held through all of this, and they lost a lot of money. That is not what you want to do. You definitely want to identify a blow off top for what it is, and you want to exit. So when things are getting really overheated and the dominance started consolidating, that would have been a pretty good indicator that maybe we're getting overextended. This is pretty much a hockey stick pattern right now, and you know, if this dominance does flip to the upside, people are going to be safe havening into Bitcoin, and altcoins are going to get wrecked, and that's exactly what happened here. So learning Bitcoin dominance is really, really important. Let me just throw it on the line chart, keep it a little cleaner. Learning this is very important. So now, Bitcoin dominance decreasing while Bitcoin is decreasing. Altcoins are going to be flat, and that's because, you know, Bitcoin is going down, but altcoins are somewhat holding their own because the dominance is also going down. So as money is flowing out of Bitcoin, it is flowing into altcoins, but Bitcoin is decreasing. Now, this is incredibly rare. This pretty much almost never happens. When Bitcoin goes down, altcoins go down. It's a fact. This scenario where you have decreasing dominance on a decreasing Bitcoin price and alts staying stable, it can happen, but in my experience, it's not going to be across the board. It's going to be a select few altcoins that fare better than others. So that's kind of like your flat, choppy, decreasing price market. So that's kind of that situation right there. Then we have Bitcoin dominance decreases while the price of Bitcoin is stable. This is very common. When Bitcoin is consolidating, it typically consolidates for quite a bit. And this can go on for a month, month and a half, 2 months. It can consolidate for a very long time. And when Bitcoin dominance is decreasing, while the price of Bitcoin is stable, the money is flowing out of Bitcoin and it is flowing into altcoins. This is very common, and this is what you typically see on some of the beginning stages of the altcoin runs, or this is typically going to be your normal altcoin season. And then you get the crazy altcoin season when Bitcoin is going up while the dominance is falling. My apologies for any of the construction noise. We have some seismic upgrades happening to the apartment that I'm staying at here in Hollywood. So apologies for that if the microphone is picking it up, but there's nothing I can do about it except leave the country, which I'm planning to do in a month. So next stop, Mexico. Anyways, so I hope you guys have a better understanding of the correlation and how to use the Bitcoin dominance chart to your advantage, because it's pretty much a light switch. It's an on-off switch for altcoin plays. You want to position yourself with the strongest assets, and inside of this ecosystem, it's Bitcoin and Ethereum. They're the strongest. And then you want to leverage some momentum plays in the altcoin space, either for some of your own speculative investments or just to increase your Bitcoin or Ethereum stack. Your strategy is entirely up to you, and your miles may vary, but understanding the Bitcoin dominance chart and how to properly use it is an essential thing for any trader to understand. So I hope you found value in this video. If you did, please leave it a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Now, please trade safe out there. It is a jungle. Peace.